Hey guys, so it's Monday, time for yet another episode of the Breakfast Club. And I know I've been a bit derelict in my duties. I've missed the last couple of weeks, and I wish I could say that it was something that was exciting as some major events in my life, but it's pretty much just work. We're preparing for a really busy moment, and it's eating up so much of my time that I don't even have time for myself. I'm still trying to make sure that I didn't want to miss this week as well, so here we are. So, I at first was thinking about going with yet another serious topic. And it's not that this isn't a serious topic that I did go with. It is rather serious, but what I mean more is like something that is dire. With things that have been happening in my country recently, I mean, just pick a subject, things going on with immigration, things going on with the Trump administration. There's so many things to choose from that are definitely, sources of ire, sources of concern. But I thought I would kind of ease up a little bit on that because I know other people are touching on this, and I'm pretty sure you guys are hearing this left and right. And while it is important and we should be discussing these things and focusing on it and figuring out what to do about it, I wanted to go with something that was a little bit more personal. And what I mean by personal is something a bit more personal to, you guys. And what I'm speaking of is your own interests, your passions, things that help you to keep going in life. As I've just stated just a moment ago, there are a lot of things going on that are quite concerning. A lot of things that are going on that may be weighing heavily on your mind. And not all of it is necessarily going to be political or cultural. There are things that are probably happening in your life that are also personal. Things that, eat away at your convictions, eat away at, your composure. Things that can wear you down. And paying attention to stuff that's going on in your personal life as well as stuff that's going on, abroad. Things that, highly concern you. They're going to tend to wear you down. They're going to stress you out. And you start, running out of energy. You start, losing a bit of your composure. And at times like this, you need to be reminded of what it is that makes you happy. What it is that helps you to keep going. The things that recharge you. The things that are linked to your passions. It's a good thing to hold on to those sorts of things. I've noticed that in our adult years, we, especially when you have to do what it takes to survive, you work your 9 to 5s, or these days it's more like what? Your 6s to 5s, 6 in the evening to 5 in the morning. Everybody's got these crazy schedules these days just to make their bread. Sometimes more than one job, and then that's just one of your many, many different responsibilities. We got a whole lot of things that are, tending to, weigh down on our heads. And when you're an adult, when you're, wanting to be responsible and you're focusing on these things in order to put food on your table or, in case you have a family, to feed your families, we tend to forget the things that tend to make us happy. I mean, when you're a kid, there's a lot of things that you tend to engage in that can make you happy, because you don't have as many responsibilities. So whether it's running around outside, joining a sports team, collecting stamps, looking at insects, playing video games, collecting comics, there are things that, when you're younger, you got certain passions in that make you happy. And sometimes you can turn those things into careers or jobs or whatever, depending on what it is that you happen to have a focus in. Like people who like to draw, for instance, later on moving over to architecture or comic book drawing or art or illustration or whatever. You have people who are natural born storytellers. They like telling stories. Later on, they write books or write screenplays, direct movies, things like that. People who are into music, they turn that passion into something that could be a career. But even if you don't necessarily turn it into a career, if it's something that when you do it, after you're done, you feel satisfied, you feel energized, you feel happy, these are the things that can kind of recharge your batteries and help you to put one foot in front of the other. For me, one of those things is martial arts, which shouldn't be a surprise to some of the people who have seen my work before online. And I noticed that no matter how tiring my training can get, No matter how much my legs and arms may burn from constantly repeating drills over and over again, how much I sweat through the hours, when I'm done, I feel happy. I feel content. I think content is a better word. I feel complete. I feel recharged. I'm ready to move on with my day. Like it's the fatigue that I may feel in my body is only temporary, but I still feel recharged, and I can move on. And me feeling that week after week, it just reminds me, how important that is in our lives these days, especially these days. You know, I really feel that, now more than ever, people really need to find something that can keep them going. If it also happens to be something that helps to put food on your table, all the better. I mean, personally, I think, especially these days and times, it's very important to try to find something that you're good at and try to leverage that, as something that could, make ends meet. The whole habit, working for other people, especially people or corporations or whatever that really don't give a damn about you and constantly work against your own best interests, that's wearing down on people's souls. And to make, add insult to injury, there's less and less of those jobs to go around anyway. And it's going to get less as more and more automation, shows up. Technology always ends up decreasing the amount of, jobs for people. It doesn't necessarily increase it as much as people think that it may. So, finding something that you're good at and then leveraging that as something that's going to, put food on your table, that pretty much should be the way to go. And this shouldn't be news to anyone because we hear this all the time in our lives. But even if you can't do that, if it's still something that you like to do, whether you are quote unquote good at it or not, if it's still something that you like doing and then when you're done, you feel content, you feel complete, puts a smile on your face, and you're able to go on with the rest of your day, then you should do that. Keep it up, because this is what's going to allow life to feel like it's worth living. It's one of the things that will help you to appreciate other things in life as well. If you're constantly going through life and all you're doing is handling responsibilities and bearing the stresses of your life, just this kind of mirthless existence where you don't have any sort of reprieve, anything that you can kind of indulge in that is just for you, it's going to be a miserable freaking experience. And no matter how strong you feel you are inside, how strong your will may be, it's going to wear you down eventually. It's going to get harder and harder to get up in the morning. But if you have something, even if it's just one thing, if you have something that you can devote time to that's just for yourself, that is something that you're passionate about, something that you really feel is important just for you. It doesn't necessarily have to have a logical explanation to it. It doesn't have to make sense to other people, but it makes sense to you. And, at the end of the day, when you're finished, you feel content, you feel complete. That's important. You should hold on to that. You should look to that. You should, allow it to enrich your life, because we need that these days. We really, really need that these days. So I hope for all you guys who are listening to this, that you have something like that in your life. I really hope you guys have something. And if you don't, try to find it. Maybe rediscover something that you used to be into like that. Like something that gave your life a sense of purpose, even if that purpose is just something that's important to you. Find it. If you don't have it, find it. If you do have it, hold on to it. It's vitally important. At least I think it is. Anyway, hope you found some value in that. Catch you guys later. Take care.